Okay, James. James? James? You can hear us? You want to go back to your tablet so at least you can speak? We apologize. Having a few technical difficulties here. Trying to get him on. It's connecting James now.
But as we wait for those
great, Colonel.
Those folks out in electron lands, and we'd like to welcome everybody to Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And this is our evening program. And we have some special guests for everybody out there. And I'm gonna let each one of them give a little self.
Well, Colonel James asked that I introduce them.
Oh, he did. So
he did indeed. So,
but before you introduce them,
well, thank you, Colonel. Thank you. Well, it
so
gives
the
me
the views listed on this program or stated on this program are the host and the guests and nobody else. So that keeps us out of Facebook jail.
Where we have been before, ladies. I want to tell you that, okay? So we're excited tonight on Portsmouth Coffee Talk to have two giants in the field of mass media to join us on tonight. And they're members of the Black media professionals. And we're so happy to have with us Miss Lisa Godley, who is an Emmy award-winning television producer and show host, who also co-produced the award-winning NPR public radio program, Another View. The highly popular call-in show gives listeners an opportunity to hear today's issues discussed from the African-American perspective. We're also very pleased to have with us Ms. Sheila Harrison, who is a retired award-winning marketing and public relations professional. She's the president and CEO of Trio Marketing and Communications. She is an adjunct professor at mass communication and journalism in the journalism department at Norfolk State University, and the first and only African-American female and only person to serve for almost 23 years as director of marketing and public relations for Nauticus and Battleship Wisconsin, a graduate of Behold the Green and Gold University and the American University. She has received numerous local, regional, and national awards. So we are excited to have these young ladies on with us today. And they want to talk to us about the National Black Media Professionals. And they're having a great conference coming up, 40 years in the business, coming up in October. So Sheila, looks like we lost Lisa, but go ahead. Would you start with us, Sheila, please?
Sure, absolutely. So Hampton Roads Black Media Professionals is an organization of a nonprofit organization of communicators throughout Hampton Roads. As we stated, the organization has been in existence since 1982. So 40 years, coming up on 40 years, and certainly time for a celebration. And so what we're doing is we're having a 40th anniversary celebration luncheon. That event will be held on the campus of Norfolk State University. They have partnered with us and said, yep, we want to be a part of this celebration. So we will be meeting on their campus on October the 22nd from noon until 2. And that's when we'll have our celebratory luncheon to celebrate those 40 years of success.
So that's 40 years of success in the media profession. And all of you look like you couldn't be much more older than 40 years of age. So you all started mighty early, didn't you?
Yes.
So the purpose of the media profession organization is to do what?
Well, we're here to serve the Hampton Roads community, Hampton Roads Black Media Professionals. We're here to serve the Hampton Roads community, most importantly, serving the journalists and media professionals here in the Hampton Roads region. We do things like training for our journalists. We just started a brand new journalism academy. It's about 2 years old. and just to train people to be great storytellers and to be the advocates when things aren't going as well as they should be going. But we're here to surround each other and just improve the lives of the media professionals and journalists here in the Hampton Roads region.
And how would one get to join this organization?
You can go to our website at hrbmpinc.com and we welcome you to become a member.
And I see that you do a mentoring program as well for young professionals or young individuals who would like to come into the profession.
Yes, we have our members love to mentor. We love to mentor. It's nothing to see one of our members out speaking at one of the colleges or universities. It's nothing for us to not to see us involved with something that's going on, to just bring young people and introduce them, whether they're in middle school, high school, college, introduce them into the field of journalism. We love doing that. We're always out in the community doing something.
Sheila, did you want to add anything to that?
Right. Oh, yeah. So one of the other things, just like Lisa just mentioned, how we're out and about, but we also, and she mentioned the Byron Burney Community Journalism Academy, which is a new feature from HRBMP that was started 2 years ago, right? Actually in 2020, it launched. And this Journalism Academy specifically provides those experiences for young people, for all members of the community, really. And it provides them with some training, journalistic experiences. They can learn how to write, how to edit. They learn how to shadow other media professionals. So it's definitely one of the mainstays of the organization now.
Do you all by any chance go into the schools to talk with students who may have an interest in journalism, but just don't know how they can go about becoming a part of it? And
Well,
is it a field that you would encourage students to become a part of?
of course. we know we won't be around forever and somebody has to take over. I mentor students at Granby High School. And that's part of my work with WHRO, but I am always telling them about what we're doing at HRBMP and encouraging them to become a part of our Journalism Academy, because we want them to understand what telling a story is all about. And it gets kind of mixed up a little bit these days because everybody can pick up a phone and
Yes.
and tell a story, but we want to help them and nurture them and encourage them and show them how we do it.
And it's so crucial that we have your voices, because we get another perspective than the perspective that's usually given in the media. And at least you can bring that different perspective to the audience and we can see it through your eyes as opposed to seeing it through someone else's eyes. And I appreciate you and I appreciate everything that you have done. I have followed you all for a long time. So it's a great thing. Now I'm gonna turn it over to Colonel because he's bubbling over for questions.
Well, you know
He
what?
has questions.
Yes, I always have questions, but I have a statement first, but in a comment is that I always looked at look back at the Constitution, and one of our founding fathers looked at freedom of the press as one of the founding principles of that what keeps us free. And I look at the last Orange King that we had that made it started a war on the press, and how we also have in America, in the United States today, the largest TV station in America is almost what I call Fox, is the equivalent of state-run TV. And so that's my own thing. So I keep out of Facebook jail. And that's my opinion, that it was state-run TV during the Orange Man's tenure. But I always like to see people that look like me on TV that that can talk about the experiences that I see every day. And it was not doing a filter of state-run TV. So I have to thank both of y'all for what you're doing, and for not just for the Hampton Roads area, but what you're doing for America, because young kids coming up today, they need to see you out there, to see that Black voice or hear that Black voice and then I turn on the tube and I see that person of color there, especially Black women. And when I go down the road, that rabbit hole of Black women, and thank y'all, Black women, the three of y'all, being a part of a better group that actually saved our democracy in the last presidential election and all that. And so, but that's another diatribe that we could talk about forever. So thank you. Okay.
So Colonel, that's it for you. I'm shocked. But
No,
anyway,
I ain't done yet. I just want to say, I say that. But
okay.
so saying that, and so you have the organization that you belong to. What is the state of Black media across this country? Just not here in the Hampton area. And we see in large urban cities, we'll have folks that look like us, but we don't see us in if I go down to western part of Virginia, or when I was down in down in Georgia, when I was in Savannah, there's nobody that looks like me on the radio, I mean on TV. And I see that's a big problem. And so what is the state of us moving into this broad field? If you can, one of y'all can address it. Because Sheila, you're over in Norfolk State. So what are our students doing over there?
Well, I know that in terms of our students, so let me back. On campus, they do have a chapter of NABJ, which is the National Association of Black Journalists. So if you look at, that's the parent organization. And then HRBMP is an affiliate of that. So they have local chapters on campus, on college campuses, and they really are training up these students to be journalists. So there is, and that to me is a commitment by the university. Norfolk State has a chapter, and I believe Hampton has one too, right, Lisa?
Hampton has a chapter.
So we know that locally, at least at these two HBCUs, they are working to ensure that the next crop of journalists are coming up. And also, one of the things that I know Lisa can probably give you that broader stroke because she's in it day in and day out. But I will tell you one of the things that HRBMP is doing to ensure that that next group of journalists are there. We give scholarships. That is one of the highlights of what we do. We raise money and we give scholarships to African-American students, minority students who are pursuing degrees in communications and journalism. So we are supporting that directly. And that's what they have to be, that's what they have to be studying in order to get this money. So that's how we're making our mark too, to ensure that they're there. So
let me ask you a question. Since there are limited positions on TV, as well as on the radio, what advice would you give a young person who they think they're gonna come out of school and immediately they're gonna be on TV, but we know many times you have to take those jobs behind the scenes before you get to be on camera. So how hard is it for a young person who's coming out of school, who really wants to be on camera? And what do they need to do? What process do they need to take to prepare them to become on camera?
Well, Leah, there are actually a whole lot of positions and jobs out there, far more than the average person thinks right now. A lot of people have called it quits because of the pandemic.
Yes.
Those jobs are out there. I am starting to see younger and younger people on the air coming out of school, maybe Hampton Roads, for example, being their second market. And when I first started out in this business, it was, people's fourth market, fifth market, but I'm seeing young people coming. There are programs. Scripps has a program. It's sort of a training program. I shouldn't say sort of. It's a training program to bring to just so that a young person can come into the newsroom and learn what they need to learn, and whether they stay there. I think that's their desire for them to stay. But whether they stay there or decide to go on to an even bigger market. People are making large jumps now, young people from small markets to large markets, because the industry is so wide open right now.
Okay. Well, that is truly good to know.
Yeah.
Leah, can you hear me?
James?
Yes. Yes. How you doing? I'm here, and well, you can't see me, and sorry about that. Had a little technical difficulty, but you know, because I had a suit and tie on. When I found out I wasn't going to be on camera, I just took that off, you know, so more relaxed now. But anyway, welcome to all of you. And I like to ask this, you know, I noticed that a lot of reporters that come through here, print and media, it seems like when they leave the market, they keep in contact with this area. It must be something about this Hampton Roads area that endears them to this. Even when they go to larger markets, I see, especially now with Facebook, they keep in touch with the Facebook, the Hampton Roads. It's probably a combination of what you all do, the family type atmosphere that your group creates, and the diversity in this area, the Hampton Roads area, you know, with the 7 cities and everything. Do you recognize that as well? That a lot of people that come through here keep in touch?
Oh, absolutely. And they are eager to come back and to help us out whenever we ask. We recently had a Black Male Media project this summer, and we had Byron Pitts, who was in this market at one point, come back and moderate the event for us. You know, it's a national reporter and anchor, and he was so happy to come back and be a part of it. Art Fennell, who was a national president for NABJ, they came back and they talked to the younger people. They talked to our members. They shared their experiences, and it was just so nice. And all of our past members are just so eager to help out whenever they can, to come back and speak. They're you know, very generous with their finances for our organization, and we just, you know, we love them and they love us, and we're happy about that.
And the other question I have, how far does the organization stretch, you know, per se, like going to Richmond? Because I attended the Virginia Union, and I noticed now they have a mass communication department or major there. And is it something like your organization in Richmond, or could those students reach out to the Hampton Roads group?
It was my understanding that they were in the process of starting a chapter in Richmond. I don't know where that is at this point, because I remember someone asking me to write a letter of recommendation, which I did, to go to nationals for them to establish a chapter, but I'm not sure what the status of that chapter is. Sheila, do you know by chance?
I don't know, but yeah, but so for now, at least we stretch, we actually go down to Elizabeth City too. So Hampton Roads, the window, you know, it spreads down to Elizabeth City for Elizabeth City State. So we have members that are professors there. So we work with them as well. And then we would even go as far as probably William and Mary. I mean, we do go across the water too. So our reach is pretty broad. Except we don't go to Richmond right now, because you're right, they're working on a chapter, and that's sort of a different area. That's not defined as Hampton Roads, I guess.
I'm sorry. I was asking mainly because our alumni tries to follow the students from this area and do what we can to help them out. And I was just wondering if they needed to reach out to the group here when they're here in the area at home. So, but that's great if they're starting the chapter there. Thanks for that answer.
You know, I have an additional question though. Say if I'm a rising sophomore at North State or Hampton, or you know, one of the local universities here, and are there like co-op programs in that I could co-op somewhere in a public affairs department in one of the, you know, somewhere? Do you have co-ops?
Are you talking internships, maybe?
Yeah, internship, or what I call co-op. You know, I made co-op for take a semester off, and I work at X place. You know, we made co-op at, you know, like my brother came through, he co-opted Nassau. And so when he finished that, he took a semester off, go back to school for a year, take another semester, and then they hired him on. It's the same thing we do in public affairs. You know, in the Army, you know, we have public affairs officers that are assigned to us, and they help us write speeches, and I actually had communication majors when I was in summer camp, and they helped us with the PR piece and communication, give speeches and stuff like that. And so I just wondering if something exists there at our universities here. Do you?
Well, I would say that I do know that it is a requirement that the students have to do some type of internship before they graduate.
Okay.
They do. Now, that process of how they actually do it, I don't know. I do know that, I mean, for me, I know that I've had several Norfolk State students, ODU students, Virginia Wesleyan students. I had them intern with Nauticus when I was there, because from our end, it was important that we were a community partner and that we reached out. At least I always try to reach out to kind of give them that experience, because it is important. I mean, you want to know what you're getting into before you get into it, right? So,
Yes.
and I think that a lot of students have a misconception about what it is and, you know, what happens and how it happens. So it's definitely important. And I think once they see, they just have a different perspective. So definitely agree that it's important. And I do know that Norfolk State does require it. I'm just not sure of exactly how the program works, because I'm not in that area.
I am a huge supporter of internships.
Yes.
They at WHRO, they nicknamed me the queen of the interns, because they've seen as many as 5 students following me through the building at one time from different schools, Norfolk State, Virginia Wesleyan, Hampton, you know, wherever they, because I feel I understand the importance of that. When I was in college, I had 4 different internships. I was all about the internship because it helped me to understand exactly what I wanted to study and what I wanted to major in. I went to a couple of newspapers. I was like, that's okay, but I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. I went to Red Book magazine in New York for a summer. I was like, that moves a little slow for me. That's not quite. And then I did something at a couple of television stations, and I was like, yeah, that's me. That's exactly what I want to do. But if I hadn't done my internships, I would not have known that. And I tell students all the time, do not wait until the last semester of your senior year to do your internship. You need to be trying to figure out, because by then you've already gotten your credentials, your studies are almost done. So if this is something that's not for you, okay, what are you going to do now? So I tell them, I said, as soon as you can, have the possibility or opportunity to have that internship, jump right in there, because it will really help you to understand what real world 101 is about when it comes to working in this industry.
Well, that's one reason I asked that question, is to stimulate those listeners and the young kids that are coming up. And you give the example of the rising sophomore, meaning they need to start now to start looking at what they want to do in the future. The other piece is for those not majoring in mass communication, I also said that for any major is to take a class in speech, in some of the mass communication classes, because you don't know where your path is going to be in the future, and then we may have to draw on that. And I use myself for an example, is that the classes I took in speech, several classes of speech and mass comm, even though I was a nurse, it helped me when I'm in front of a couple thousand people, at one of the national conventions, giving a speech and giving awards and doing a lot of stuff. It allows me to just let it flow. And that's the name of the game, is to let it flow. And you can talk about anything, anytime, without any prep, because of why? I had the background for it. And so what say you?
I say the more you do something, the better you get at it.
Yes.
So, if you can take advantage of those opportunities, please do, because at some point, pretty much everybody's going to have to say something in front of people.
Yes.
So the better you do it. I often tell my interns to practice in front of the mirror, have a conversation.
Right.
With yourself, get comfortable.
Yes.
In front of the mirror, just talking to yourself. Because it can be a little terrifying when you first start out and there's a camera in your face.
Yes.
But you got to get comfortable. The more you do it, the more comfortable.
Yeah. Even, what kills me though, even the athletes, and they get before the camera, they score, after the game, they get in and they, and it just kills me when they get before the camera and they can't string 2 words together. And then when they retire, then they want to go before the camera and can't speak. And so that's just another personal commentation for there.
Okay, looks like James has a question.
Yes.
I see Sheila, you're shaking your head. I think you're.
No, I was just going to comment to what you were saying about just how important it is to have. So I would sort of blend too. One of the things that I require my students, they have to talk, because I teach a public relations class. They don't understand what it is. They just think public relations is the parties, the special events. They don't understand that PR is strategic.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I require of them is that they have to find a communications professional, a PR professional. They have to interview that person. They have to do a PowerPoint, and then they have to do a presentation to me. So that gives them that opportunity now to present, to be able to convey what they've gotten from them, but to present it. And the other category that's important for me, for them, is that they have to dress up. Don't just show up, dress up.
Thank you.
Your presentation is just as important. How you present, how you look. I always tell them, people see you before they hear you.
Exactly.
So until you have to present yourself so that I want to listen to what you have to say. So I think I'm just saying that goes back to that entire, at least that piece of training, hopefully that I can give them in my class as part of that broader experience that you're right, they need to have with regards to training and preparing for their career.
Yeah, I'd like to ask on that same vein that, TikTok and social media, with the kids starting with that at a very young age. And then by the time they get to Norfolk State, you have to train them all over again because they think they're camera ready, but it's a lot more professionalism, like you said, that goes along with it. Is there any programs that you all have where you're reaching out into the high schools? Because when we had Alvita on, she talked about how young she was when she got interested in journalism, and she kind of started in high school. And I think it might be important if you're in the high schools for those students that are on TikTok, that you capture them and say, oh no, that's not the way to go. It's a way to prepare for that, to be camera ready and professional. And your dialogue is important as well. And my question was, any outreach from your group to high school students?
Well, our Byron Burney Community Journalism Academy is for middle school students, high school students, and college students.
Okay.
So they kind of span that whole group. And we've had some middle school students that have been a part of it, as well as high school students and college students, because we understand the importance of it. You can get somebody interested in communications and journalism at a very young age. That's a good thing.
And
So
Lisa,
we're
if
all
there's a middle school student who has an interest, how do they become a part of the organization?
That's interesting, because we really do reach out to college students as far as membership. We embrace them, but there isn't really an arm for middle and high school students to become members of Hampton Roads Black Media Professionals, but we do nurture them through our academy.
Through the academy, okay. Yeah. All right, thank you very much. And I guess we should segue into, since it's at the 7:31 hour, into the real reason why we're talking. We're supposed to be talking about the Hampton Roads Black Professionals Conference, which is coming up October 22nd, am I correct?
Yes.
At Norfolk State University?
It's our 40th birthday, yes.
40th birthday. And what do you plan to do during this great event?
I'm going to turn this over to our chair of the event.
Oh, snap.
Miss Sheila Harrison.
We plan to have a great time. And so what we want to do during the course of this event is to celebrate us. There's been so many accomplishments that HRBNP has had in this 40-year history. Some of you may, if you're in this area, you may know that for 17 years, HRBNP hosted the Excel Awards.
Yes.
So do you remember those? Anybody
remember?
Yes.
Excel Awards was like this academy style event where people were, most African Americans received awards for their portrayals. I shouldn't say it was just them, but it was a portrayal of African Americans in the media in Hampton Roads. So we want to celebrate that. We also want to celebrate our founder. Our founder, his name is James Wright, wonderful gentleman. James worked for many years as a videographer at Channel 10. So he was one of our founders. We want to celebrate him. We want to celebrate the fact that we have this Byron Burney Journalism Academy. We want to celebrate that, all the things that we do. And I think I mentioned in the beginning, HRBNP has given more than $175,000 to students in scholarships over the course of its 40-year history. That's a lot of money. Isn't that a lot of money?
It is.
175,000 to over 100 students who are pursuing media-related degrees. So we want to celebrate that. So this luncheon is a way for us to pull all these pieces together and really, yeah, to celebrate us and to let people know what we've been doing over the course of these years. We have a lot of sponsors. One of the things that we wanted to do right away was to get sponsorship, certainly from the partner organizations. Our members of HRBNP, they work for the media, right? They work for the television stations, the radio stations, they work in PR. We wanted them to support us as well, and they've come through. And the bigger picture, again, is that Norfolk State, right away, when we went to them and said, we want to do this event, can we count on you? And they said, we're in. I mean, right from, there was no hesitation. We're in, we want to support you. And that's why it's going to be on the campus of Norfolk State. We anticipate that the president of Norfolk State, Dr. Adams Gasson, will be there as well to give us greetings. We're anticipating representatives from the city of Norfolk. Hopefully the mayor will come. So Mayor Alexander, if you're listening, okay, putting in that plug, we hope that you will come and just share with us. But HRBNP has a history of just having very strong connections in the community. So we'll probably have, I know Bobby Scott, he typically will come to all of our events.
I know. He doesn't miss an event.
What's that?
He does not miss an event.
Yes, yes. So we're going to reach out to him, and it'll just be a celebration from the moment that you come in. We've just got a lot planned for that day. And ultimately, like I said, to celebrate us and just to show everyone what we've done and what we're going to continue to do. Let's talk about that. What we will continue to do, because our theme for the event is Forging Ahead with Focus. How about that? 40 years, forging ahead with focus, because we're going to keep going. 40 years is a lot of years, right?
It is. It really is.
But there's 40 more and 40 more ahead of us. And we know that we want to forge ahead and just make things continue to happen and to carry out our mission in terms of being in the Hampton Roads community and beyond.
Okay, and how many people you think you're expecting to attend this event?
So our goal actually is probably to get around 150 people for this event. Our space, part of that is the space that we're looking at. So we do want people to come out. Tickets are only $40, 40th anniversary, $40. You can purchase the tickets by going to our website, hrbnpinc.com. And really, once you get to the website, a pop-up will come up and there's something there that will tell you how you can purchase tickets. So you just click, now we can make everything happen. Click.
Yes, indeed.
And you can purchase those tickets for $40. And just come on out that Saturday morning. There's free parking on campus. Let me make that clear. There's free parking on campus. I'll say we picked a day that there's no football game. Norfolk State does not have a football game. So access to the campus should be easy. Be able to get on campus, come to the event, have a nice lunch, and then, help us celebrate.
And it's open to the general public, which means that you can get to meet some of your favorite on-air personalities at this event on October 22nd.
There's
a very good chance that will happen.
So, when you talked about 40 years behind, you got 40 years behind you. And so what is the vision for the next 40 years?
I'm going to let our president.
That's a very good question. We just want to keep on keeping on. Our goal is to train the journalists and communications professionals of the future, to make sure they have what they need to be successful. Because as I mentioned when we first started out, we know we're not going to be here forever. We want to make sure the next generation that comes up has the skills that they need to keep this organization going for another 40 years. We have some great young people that have stepped up, that are on the board for Hampton Roads Black Media Professionals, and we'll be happy to turn the reins over to them when the time comes. But our goal is to just make sure that the next generation is prepared to carry on the mission of Hampton Roads Black.
I like to say, I think a lot of things that you all do is one of the reasons that as soon as we get used to one of the TV or print personalities, a larger market comes to calling. And I think it's due a lot to what you all do in helping prepare those youngsters. And I know you mentioned earlier, a lot of the youngsters are coming out of college and not taking, they don't have to wait as long as some of you all, well, some people had to wait to get to a certain point. They're coming there hitting the ground running. But when they join your organization, you are a big part of what they do going forward. And the Colonel asked about the future. You said you just want to continue to do that. And I'm one of the ones probably here that really only one that goes back 40 years. I remember going to when it was on Church Street at the Roper Theater, I think, and it was formal. We had to wear tuxedos. So good to know that this is going to be more of a relaxed event. And we certainly wish you all the luck there. And what do you do anything else other than this big fundraiser during the year, or you just depend on sponsorships and donations from the general public?
We have activities throughout the year for our members. We try to always have something to enhance and help them professionally. We do something called a 10-minute training during our meetings to help our members just to grow and learn, continue to learn. We've had, during the pandemic, it's been a little tricky trying to, but we did do a raffle. It was a silent
fundraising. Yeah, it was the fundraising raffle. We did that. Because we still have to raise money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have, we're eager to have our doors open back up and to really mix and mingle, because the past 2 years we've had to do a lot of stuff virtually because of the pandemic, but we're eager to.
And I see online that John Askew, who's a former radio personality in the area, is now online watching as you all talk and share this information. So hopefully the John Askew will come back into the area on October 22nd and to attend this wonderful event you have planned for Black professionals in the media.
Yes.
We're going to challenge him. We're going to challenge him to come back home. Okay. Let me ask you something about the print media. You know, because people seem to have, I know you all are not in print, but I know that you have people who are part of your organization who are in print. But with the fact that people are not buying newspapers anymore, what arenas do we have for the young people? And especially now, because young people don't write very well because of this messaging and things that they do on the computer, where you don't have to spell words out, you don't have to have grammatically correct sentences. What do we have for those young folks who may want to enter the print industry? What is available to them?
What is available to folks that are interested in
who are interested, but yet and still they have not honed the skills that they need in order to be in the field.
Get the skills to go into the newspaper business or print business.
You know, a lot of the majors have changed since my day. When I was at Norfolk State, we had a journalism department, and we did for magazine and newspaper, and help me out, Sheila. And it was separate from mass communications, which was broadcasting. And now the majors are combined. They're MMJ majors, and they're doing a little bit of everything when they're being trained. They're coming out trained to be the journalists that can do everything, set up their tripod, do their, write, put things on social. They're trained to do just about everything. And Sheila, you could kind of expand that because you're teaching some of those students.
Right. And what you're saying is absolutely right. They're just getting this cross training now across the board. Because you're right, when I was at Norfolk State, I majored in, my concentration was public relations. That doesn't exist anymore. Okay. They don't have a concentration for public relations. It's all under media, just almost like mass communications. And that's what your degree is in. So you learn about everything. So, and Lisa's right, because when we were there, journalism was on one side of the house and mass comm was the other side of the house, and never did the two meet. I mean, you didn't meet. Am I right, Lisa? I mean,
unless you had to deliberately walk, because I remember walking from the journalism department over to the mass comm building to work on radio, because it was, we were totally separate. So you're absolutely right.
But now the curriculum is just sort of broader, and it just covers everything. So hopefully they'll be able to go into whichever environment and at least have the I guess the groundwork for knowing what they need to do. But that connects back to what we were saying about having those internships so that they then can really focus in on what area. They'll know what area they really want to go into, because there's a lot. You don't know. Sometimes you really don't know. And and I love Lisa's explanation when you were talking about the different internships and what you did to kind of get to where it is you really want it to be. And same thing with me. I interned at the Virginia Pilot in the PR department, not the news, in PR. So that's kind of what led me to really say, oh, this is what I want to do. And it was required that I had an internship, but it all worked out. But that, and then that's kind of how, you know, it kind of all happened for me.
James?
Can I bring back our interview with Alveda Williams again? When she talked about when she first got into the business, it wasn't as many people that looked like us in the business. And, you know, they would not tolerate, but they would hire one, but they say, well, okay, we have one. And she
Where, James? James? Looks like
I think he went down the anecdote of, you know, each institution hiring the one.
I'm still here.
you back.
Yes.
Come on.
I went out there for a minute, but she said, you know, and it's different now. We see a lot of representation, but, you know, just like everything else in the United States, there's still some issues about equity and, you know, in pay and everything like that. Do we still see some of those things now, which also another important reason for a group like yours to make sure that things are fair and equitable amongst the African Americans?
I just muted myself. You're asking what we're doing to make sure there are more folks that look like us across the board. I want to make sure I got your question correctly. James.
Yes, but you know what, and to add on that, so folks that are out there, for the young folks that are looking for career, what is the average salaries for somebody that's graduating, they have their VA or whatever, and they're just getting behind the camera? And to start, what is that average starting salary for that person that's behind the camera, front of the camera and back of the camera? Is there like a salary range in this market or in a New York market? And then when I get to be in front of the camera in say CNN, because I know they're going to be calling me after this show. So do I start my negotiation at 25 million?
Hey, if you can get it, go for it.
Yeah. Yes.
I get a call from Fox.
Oh, Lord.
You know, I honestly, I cannot tell you what the start is. Sheila may be able to address this better than I, and I know Alveda could if she was here, but I'm not sure where they're starting in right out of school in terms of what the salaries are. I know what it was when I first started, because I probably could have qualified for government cheese. My first job was TV. But it was because it was not a lot. It was in the teens. But I, you know, today I'm pretty sure it's a lot higher than that, but I couldn't, because I don't walk up to people and say, so what are you making? But I don't know, Sheila, can you address that at all in terms of?
I can't address that side. I can only talk about the PR side. I mean, so I can tell you, if as a PR professional, starting salaries for students, probably, I mean, coming out probably around between 35 and 40. It's not a whole lot. 35 and 40, even though I asked my students the other week, how much do you think you're gonna make in your first job? And they told me 100,000.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay, all right, good
Go
luck with
for it.
that.
Come to go for it.
Because you know, they always like to say is young people want to get paid, but they have no skills yet. They don't
Exactly.
understand that
Yes.
you don't have the skills. You have to have that. So I would say for at least in the PR field, and then of course you're working your way up, you can work anywhere from that 40 to that next job, 70, 80, get over 100,000 easily in this profession. But I don't necessarily know about the broadcast side.
Well, to make an anecdote, young folks nowadays getting out of school or whatever, getting into the workforce, they don't want to take that ladder or take them steps. They want to start at the top, and everybody wants 6 figures,
That's
At
right.
least you was talking about when you started, but and you said you was eating that government cheese.
I
but
said
you were
I
happy.
qualified.
She said she qualified, not that she was eating it, but she qualified for it.
Well,
Mom and Dad kept sending me care packages, but based on my salary, I could have qualified.
Yeah, well, your mother was not going to let you eat government cheese. She was going to make sure she took care of you. But yes, we could have qualified for it, but it was a different time back in the day.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
I always tell, I have a thing that I tell my students when they start talking about money. I said, look, when you first work, you get paid for what you do, which isn't a whole lot because you don't know anything.
Exactly.
So you get paid for what you do. Your second job, you'll get paid for what you know. Because if you were paying attention, then now you know some stuff, right? Because you were paying attention, you figured out how to do it. And then that next job, you're going to get paid for who you know. Because all of that should come together at that point. You know people, you know how to do the job, and then that's what makes you most valuable. That's kind of
I like that. I like that.
Set it up for them in terms of
Exactly.
And before we go off, I kept going off. I just wanted to know the state of media for Black professionals today. It's so many opportunities now with all the different outlets that they can be hired in, but what is the actual state of the media for Black professionals, Black media professionals? I know it's better than it was, but are we still looking at some issues?
Oh, definitely. There are definitely issues out there. I'm constantly seeing emails from our national president addressing things, discrimination, issues that are going on in stations across the country. There's a lot that still needs to be dealt with when it comes to hiring, either locally or on a national level. It's still an issue. It hasn't gone away. Yes, you're seeing more people who look like you on the air, but there are still some issues that need to be fixed. And we're here. That's one of the things that we do. We work as advocates when things aren't right, especially when we see somebody really struggling, and the pandemic did not help, because a lot of people decided, I am not going to go out and do this right now, or I'm going to retire early. That's why so much has opened up for the younger people at this point. So
in some ways,
we still have a ways to go to get where we need to be. Absolutely.
In some ways, that's kind of unfortunate, because we all sat back and watch Barbara Sahara and yourself work the beat and work outside and really do some things to get to the point where we are today, and still issues. But it's like that everywhere. But we, like I said earlier, we appreciate you and what you all do.
Yeah. And also I see that Don Roberts is retiring. He's been out there forever, and I'm sure he's a part of your organization.
Yeah, Don Roberts was the first president.
Yes.
He was
First-
HIB.
okay, all right.
In 1982 at the founding.
Okay. And his retirement is coming soon. Am I correct?
He said end of the month.
I
End
knew
of the
the
month,
date,
right.
and now I don't remember it, but I did see something.
Right.
So,
And
so we
Don,
need
if you're out there, trying to contact you.
Would you say, Jim, Slim?
If he's out there, we're trying to contact him.
Exactly. Because
Already seen him.
he's a great storyteller.
Yes, he is.
We used to have him to come to the Pines to talk to the kids, and he did an outstanding job when he would come there. So yes, we will reach out to him as well. But we appreciate everything that you all have done. We appreciate what you all have given back to the community, and especially Lisa with the programs that you've done in the community through WHRO. You all have brought our attention to the place where it needs to be, and helped us to focus on those things that we need to focus on. So I want to say thank you so very much. And Sheila at Nauticus, the first. And you were able to, and are you saying that you're no longer doing that?
no, no, I'm no longer at Nauticus. I worked there for 23 years.
23 years.
Yeah,
23 years.
that was the longest running, longest serving only one. So I'm thankful, I'm thankful for having had that opportunity to make an impact, to make a difference, to help some people along the way, helping the students. I was there for a reason. That's what I just say, I was there for a reason, and my tenure lasted that long for a reason. But now I'm also glad that I'm retired from there. So, okay.
Were you able to pave the way for someone else who looked like you to come into that position?
Well, I hope that happens. Hasn't happened yet. I'll just say I'm hopeful that it will.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you. That's for sure. And thank you for all that you do. And we would encourage everyone out there. Let them have more than 150 people. You can't hold but 150 people, all right? Is that correct? In the venue?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want 100. We want at least 150 people in the venue. So those of you who are out there who would like to go to Norfolk State on October 22nd for the Black Media Professionals Luncheon, you get the chance to rub shoulders with Lisa Godley and Sheila Harrison and Alvita Ura and Barbara Sierra and all of those great folks who've been on air and working in the public relations division. So get your tickets, only $40. So to celebrate that 40th anniversary with our Black media professionals. And once again, we thank you for everything that you've done and everything that you will continue to do, because your work is not over. And as Lisa Godley said, she wants to just keep on keeping on. So we want you all to keep on keeping on, because you still have a job ahead of you. And I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful that you chose to come on Portsmouth Coffee Talk to talk about this great event that you have coming up. Not only that, but to talk about avenues for those who are coming up behind you, paving the way to let someone else come in and join you in this circle of Black professional media. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Slim?
Thank you for the opportunity.
Jim? Slim?
I just want to say, can we here at Portsmouth Coffee Talk be associate members in some way?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sounds good to me.
So I put that challenge to my co-host to join as associate members, or whatever way we can join. And Lisa, I'd like to thank you for the story you did on Truxton some time back.
Yes, yes. That's my community, Lisa.
Nice.
Thank
I learned
you.
a lot. I always,
you.
that's why I love what I do, because I'm always learning.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just an honor for me to sit beside Horace Savage and listen to his stories about Truxton, and being a part of that. We appreciate you and all the stories that you all do in our communities.
Now, Lisa, while you're doing your stories, if James, finish, James, I'm sorry to step over you.
I finished, go ahead.
So one thing, Lisa, I would encourage you to do. Next year is the 110th year for IC Norcom High School. We're going to have activities starting the entire year in celebration of Mr. Israel Charles Norcom's dream. Yesterday, if you go on my Facebook page, we saluted him through wearing our maroon and gray online to thank him for having the vision so that we can be, and we always say we are because he was. And so next year we celebrate 110 years of Israel Charles Norcom High School. So I encourage you to do whatever you can do to make us shine, okay? We're shining, but we need you to make us into superstars, okay?
I got you.
Okay. I'm sorry, Colonel. Go ahead, Colonel.
Well, since you're giving out all the tasks like a teacher, we'll go ahead and throw this other one out, because I saw a text, I think it was 2 days ago, where there's thinking about next year's Cedar Grove reunion. And then so I guess you're going to do the program for that too. So so yes. So Sheila, didn't you see she did that North and South thing, right?
Sheila said, don't pull me into this.
So yeah, so now that we got that commitment out of you, and but thank both of you for coming on the show, and then for what you're doing for our young folks out there, and for your profession. And we just have to thank you. It's just not for Hampton Roads, but what you're doing for America.
And thank you for Portsmouth Coffee Talk. This is great. Thank you. It's another opportunity, another forum for ideas to be expressed and for you all to help other people. So that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. And team, we need to look at purchasing our tickets for October 22nd.
Absolutely.
Team, James?
Okay.
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 Yeah, we would like to definitely be there for this great event that's coming up.
We'd love to have you. Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, once again, thank you so very much. And James, are you going to carry us out?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks again, and I appreciate it. And I will be attending there. It might be kind of hard for me to set foot on Norfolk State's campus being a union man. And since y'all left the CIAA, I've been bitter ever since. But I'll just hold that back in
Hater,
the team
hater,
for the
hater.
sake of your organization.
James, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law went to Union too. I'm going to talk to you about that offline, see if you might know them.
Yes. Okay, we'll do that. We all know each other there.
Yes.
Again, I like to thank you. And Portsmouth Coffee Talk is here for our voice.
Our community.
In our future.
And we
We-
salute you. Thank you.
We salute you. We salute you. And thank you so very much for coming on Portsmouth Coffee Talk.
And we like
Thank
to have
you.
you back from time to time to give us updates on what you're doing and, you know, just give our little show a plug.
Thank
Glad to
you.
come back.
All
Yeah.
right, co-host, thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank y'all.
We appreciate each of you.
Yep.
Thank you for having us.